Namaskar, good evening viewers. You are watching House Highlights on Sansad TV. I am Rajiv Kumar Singh. We get you today's updates from both our houses of Parliament. Let's begin with the headlines. Rajya Sabha passes Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022. Bill empowers a centre to specify energy consumption standards and requires designated consumers to meet a minimum share of energy consumption. Lok Sabha discusses supplementary demands for grants. Government has sought Parliament approval for net additional spending of over rupees 3.25 lakh crore in current fiscal. Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar cautions members against making unsubstantiated charges, warns that it amounts to breach of privilege. Starting with proceedings in the Rajya Sabha, the Parliament on Monday passed a bill seeking to mandate the use of non-fossil fuel energy sources such as biomass, ethanol and green hydrogen. The Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022 was cleared in Rajya Sabha by a voice vote. Lok Sabha passed the legislation in the previous session in August this year. Replying to a debate on the bill, Minister of New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh said that the bill is environment friendly and will allow carbon trading in the country. He also said that the country would achieve over 50% of its power generation capacity from non-fossil fuels by 2030.
भारत ने कहा कि हमारा जो बिजली उत्पादन की जो क्षमता है उसका 40% हम कर देंगे नॉन फॉसिल से बाय 2030। ये बहुत बड़ा एक कमिटमेंट है क्योंकि भारत एक बहुत बड़ा देश है और इसकी ऊर्जा उत्पादन क्षमता भी बहुत है। लेकिन अध्यक्ष महोदय हम लोगों ने कर ही नहीं दिया, हम लोगों ने उसे एक्सीड कर दिया और कर दिया 9 साल पहले। हम लोगों ने कहा था कि ये हम अचीव करेंगे 2030 तक, ये हम लोगों ने अचीव कर लिया 2021 नवंबर तक। जो हमने प्लेज किया था COP21 इन पेरिस इन 2015 दैट बाय 2030 we will reduce the emissions intensity of our economy by 33 to 35% by 2030. Now we've already reduced it by more than 30% already and we are in 22. So again we are a leader. So that's why in renewable energy, in climate change, in clean energy, India is a leader. Undisputed. हमारा कोई बराबरी नहीं कर सकता.
Taking part in the discussion on the bill, P. Wilson of DMK praised the government for making efforts to reduce carbon emissions and protecting the environment. Sandeep Kumar Pathak of AAP also pointed out that while it is a futuristic bill, it has many issues which needed to be addressed. Members cutting across party lines took part in the discussion.
The introduction of the carbon markets in India is a welcome step. But the scheme might end up just providing an escape route mechanism to carbon-intensive industrial sources. A successful carbon market requires a high enough carbon price that will disincentivize polluting behavior. This lays emphasis on the planning of the carbon market schemes in India.
मैं सरकार को बधाई देना चाहता हूं इस बिल के लिए। ये बहुत ही फ्यूचरिस्टिक है और ये बहुत पहले हो जाना चाहिए था। फिर भी ये बिल आगे भविष्य को निर्धारित करेगी कि रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज के कैसे यूटिलाइजेशन होंगे और कैसे उस पे देश प्रगति करेगी।
आपका टारगेट जो दिया गया है वो ये है कि 20 से 25% कूलिंग एनर्जी डिमांड में बाय 37-38 में आपको कम करनी है। आपका अगर मनोज झा जी सही कह रहे थे, अगर ये स्टैंडिंग कमेटी के पास जाता, ये सारी चीजों का अध्ययन होता।
जैसे यूरोपियन यूनियन में होता है कि ऑक्शन सिस्टम फॉलो किया जाता है, हमारे यहाँ हम कौन सा सिस्टम फॉलो करने को सोच रहे हैं? ऑक्शन सिस्टम यूरोपियन यूनियन वाला या उसके लिए कोई पद्धति और प्रक्रियाएं हमने तय की है? नहीं। कैलकुलेशन ऑफ एमिशन ये भी एक पक्ष है जो मैं समझता हूं साइलेंट है। वेदर इंडिया हैज आइडेंटिफाइड द स्टैंडर्ड एमिशन फैक्टर्स दैट कैन बी यूज्ड टू डिटरमिन द एमिशन ऑफ इंडिविजुअल एंटिटीज।
भारत सरकार ने माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के कुशल नेतृत्व में अग्रिम प्रावधान किए और हम कह सकते हैं कि इस समय भारत का स्थान ऊर्जा के संरक्षण में उपयोग में चौथा स्थान है। हम जो विंड पावर है हमारी, उसमें भी हमारा दुनिया के अंदर चौथा स्थान है और सोलर पावर में भी हमारा दुनिया के अंदर चौथा स्थान है। ये हमारे बेहतरीन प्रयासों की जो सरकार की एक नतीजा हम सब के सामने है।
Sir, the bill also addresses the building codes, which is a very welcome amendment. But how can we ensure that the local governments implement them? And unless these are implemented and followed up, a legislation is just a futile exercise.
The opposition parties on Monday accused the government of using the investigative agencies to silence opposition. Chairman Dhankar instructed the opposition to substantiate the charge with facts.
जो आपने कही कि फैक्ट्स, फिगर्स और ऑथेंटिसिटी के साथ बात करना चाहिए। सर, जो भी सदस्य यहाँ पर बात करते हैं वो या तो अनस्टार्ड क्वेश्चन से जो रिप्लाई मिलते हैं या स्टार्ट क्वेश्चन से जो रिप्लाई मिलते हैं उस आधार पर भी बात करते हैं। और मीडिया जर्नल, आप उसको मानो या न मानो, आप उसको कह सकते हैं कि ये ठीक नहीं है, लेकिन हमको कभी मीडिया का भी फिगर्स लेना पड़ता है, जर्नलिस्ट जो आर्टिकल लिखते वो भी लेना पड़ता है, कभी सदन में अनस्टार्ट क्वेश्चंस के रिप्लाई आते वो लेना पड़ता है, या स्टार्ट क्वेश्चंस के रिप्लाई वो देते वो लेना पड़ता है।
3000 छापे विपक्ष के नेताओं पे मारे गए और मात्र 23 लोगों को ईडी कन्विक्ट कर पाई, मात्र 0.5%। 0.5%। सर, सर, ये बिल्कुल ठीक बात नहीं है सर।
Leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha accused the opposition of not substantiating allegations against the government with facts. He said that such shoot and scoot measures are unwarranted.
Of late, we are finding that it has become very simple. There are a number of websites, a number of social media platforms on which people make all sorts of claims which are unsubstantiated by fact. They are not backed by any starred or unstarred questions response in Parliament. They are not even backed by RTI.
Suggestion.
We have, Honorable Chairman, I need a minute. We have a lot of cases where then when you fact check it,
Your suggestion.
you come out with fake claims.
Your suggestion.
Therefore, when a very senior member of the House, who is also sitting in the front row, makes a claim that 3,000 political राजनीतिक 3000 लोगों के ऊपर छापा, I mean, I think it's completely erroneous.
Your point is
he has made it without any substance.
Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar cautioned the members of the upper house against unsubstantiated charges. He said that the platform of the upper house cannot be used for frivolous allegations.
Honorable member has made some reflections. You all are aware, in public domain, it will be difficult to sustain them. To make a sweeping statement on this platform that no action is being taken, where multiple adjudicatory mechanisms have taken place. We cannot allow this platform to be used that you say nothing has been taken. Make your point carefully. I will examine all that the honorable member has said, and the honorable member will be called upon to substantiate it on the floor of the House and leave it on the table.
Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar clarified in the upper house on Monday that any allegation made on the floor of the House will have to be substantiated by authentic document. He stressed that unauthenticated charges will have consequences. He has also called a meeting with the leaders of the various political parties on the issue.
In this House, we cannot allow any member to give out facts that are not substantiated, and that constitutes a very serious breach of privilege. I am very particular about it, whether it is this side or this side. Anything being spoken in this House cannot be in figure,
it has to be indicated with precision, with sanctity, and with ownership. And that is why, to a very distinguished member, where it was not required, I wanted that practice to be there, that if a Chief Minister of a state has sent a communication to the Honorable Prime Minister and details are not made available, that should be on record. That will be shared with the members. So the Honorable Member can make his input. But while making the input, it has not to be a speech. The Honorable Member must focus on actual figures, and I will call upon the Honorable Member to put the relevant record on the table of the House. If the record is not there, I may seek guidance from the Honorable Members. That will be breach of privilege of this House. This House has to be a platform of putting across everything that concerns the public at large. Any expression cannot be controlled here. The only controlling factor is we have to believe in sanctity of the document. A newspaper report, an opinion given by someone is absolutely of no consequence. What I need is legally admissible documentation must be the premise of making an allegation.
Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar urged the parties to allocate seats of the members. He appreciated the parties that have already allocated the seats and urged others to take affirmative action.
The parties that have allotted, and I compliment them, seat division numbers to their members in the Rajya Sabha chamber, their names are All India Trinamool Congress, Biju Janata Dal, Dravida Munnetra Khadgam, Communist Party of India Marxist, CPIM. The other parties are yet to take affirmative needed step. Those parties that need to take steps affirmatively at the earliest, Bharatiya Janata Party, they have allotted seats so far only to the Honorable Ministers. Indian National Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, YSR Congress Party, Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, Rashtriya Janata Dal United, All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Khadgam, Nationalist Congress Party, National Congress Party, Samajwadi Party, Shiv Sena. And those of you have done it in last few minutes, I am grateful.
Time for a break in the bulletin. On the other side, news from the Lok Sabha. Welcome back to House Highlights. Let's now take a look at the key takeaways from the lower house proceedings today. Lok Sabha took up the discussion on supplementary demands for grants today. On Friday, the government sought the Parliament's approval for net additional spending of over rupees 3.25 lakh crore in the current fiscal. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor said the government is not addressing the root cause but choosing to use SOPs as temporary solution. Rejecting the opposition's criticism, the ruling party members said the Indian economy has picked up again after bearing the brunt during the COVID pandemic and the subsequent geopolitical situation. Take a look.
As I pointed out earlier this year, despite the frailties in our medical infrastructure that were exposed by the pandemic, the health sector was originally allocated only 200 crore rupees more this year. Yet again, I must say that the overall decrease after factoring inflation was a long way off from the goal envisaged in the National Health Policy 2017, which had announced that they would spend 2.5% of GDP on health.
The Reserve Bank has repeatedly raised the repo rate, the rate at which it lends to bank, but it has failed to control the inflation. I admit that it's not a runaway inflation, but it's inflation all the same, and it is having an impact on the common man's pocket.
कि जो हम लोगों ने खर्चे जो बढ़ाए और कई वक्ताओं ने इसके बारे में कहा है कि जो खर्चे थे वो फर्टिलाइज़र सब्सिडी में 1 लाख करोड़ और हम लोगों ने खर्च किया, प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण योजना में हम लोगों ने 80,000 करोड़ और खर्च किया, हम लोगों ने एलपीजी सब्सिडी में और पैसे दिए, हम लोगों ने रेलवेज़ में निवेश दिया, हमने नरेगा में पैसा दिया। ये सब जो खर्चे थे वो इसलिए थे क्योंकि विश्व में एक माहौल पैदा हुआ, विश्व में एक उथल पुथल हुआ जहां हम लोगों को अपनी जनता को सुरक्षित रखना था, महंगाई पे अंकुश लगाना था और साथ साथ विकास में और उत्पादन की बढ़ोतरी में हम लोगों को पूरी तरीके से प्रोत्साहन देना था। और ये हम लोगों ने अपनी नीतियों के द्वारा और इस सप्लीमेंट्री डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट्स के द्वारा हम लोगों ने किया है।
I appeal to the Honorable Prime Minister through the Honorable Finance Minister to announce that Amaravati will remain the capital of AP. I also request her to provide the funds for the development of Amaravati, as all the development projects are at a standstill.
In my constituency alone, don't know why the administration have closed nearly 8 primary schools, which is whenever we have passed the Right to Education Act in 2009, where in 1 kilometer peripheral we need to have primary schools, wherein the 8 primary schools has been closed only because there was a shortage of teachers.
Global inflation forecast has to rise from 4.7% in 2021 to 8.8% in 2022, but to decline 6.5% in 23 and 4.1% by 24, sir. Amidst this crisis, India stands on better footing, sir. Promising growth, slowing inflation, rapid vaccination coverage, well-calibrated short-term policy measures have effectively navigated the economy through the turbulent times, paving the path towards the desired resilience and the growth, sir.
In response to a question on currency devaluation and foreign exchange reserve, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reiterated that the rupee has been strong among other major currencies. She informed that Reserve Bank of India's operations in rupees defense have resulted in net sales of US $33.42 billion till September 2022.
Rupee has been strong against every currency, and that is proved, and I can read the records. As regards just the US dollar, because of the policies adopted by the US Fed, is getting stronger and stronger. That has been explained. Now, as regards the foreign exchange reserve, Reserve Bank has used foreign exchange reserve that it has to intervene in the market only to make sure that the dollar and rupee fluctuation doesn't go too much. In the sense, volatility of that kind of a fluctuation becoming too much can lead to very many different consequences. So foreign exchange reserve to some extent was used by the Reserve Bank. But today you find in the last couple of weeks more reserves, the reserve going up, it's increasing because of the flow of FDIs and FIIs.
Senior Congress leader and MP from Thiruvananthapuram, Shashi Tharoor, asked for clarification from Finance Minister regarding the pending GST compensation for the state of Kerala. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman informed the House that till June, the GST compensation for Kerala was rupees 780.49 crore. She asked Kerala government to submit necessary papers related to the compensation to clear dues.
Finance Minister has made an interesting statement, because we heard last week from Kerala Finance Minister that Kerala is yet to receive 4,466.89 crores as goods and services tax compensation since the 2017-18 fiscal year, and they claim that according to their audited calculations, there's a shortfall in 5 of the last 6 years. Except, I gather, for 1 year, last year, 1920 fiscal, when you actually paid a bit of an excess. The rest, according to their calculations, has fallen short.
As of June, for Kerala, it is 780.49 crores only. 780.4916, if you want fourth decimal as well. Yes, the Kerala Finance Minister met me. He has given me some details of the claims. So these are, I would like to believe, if the state believes that that is pending, I also would like to believe it's pending, because I need the necessary papers to clear it. The moment, sir, Honorable Speaker, the papers reach me of that certification which is required, even if there is a contention between the centre and the state, it has to be sorted out. Until then, it's pending from both sides.
JD MP from Jajpur, Odisha, Sharmista Sethi, sought to know from the Education Minister about the tribal students who dropped out during COVID pandemic. MS Education replied that the data shows that number of students joining higher universities have increased.
According to the data in the ministry, in higher education, gradually GER is increasing day by day. Starting from 2012-13, it was 11.1 and now it is 18.
Samajwadi Party leader Dimple Yadav took oath as Lok Sabha member today. She won the Mainpuri seat on Thursday by over 2 lakh votes. The Mainpuri seat fell vacant after party supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav passed away on October 10th. When the Lok Sabha resumed post-lunch, MPs of various parties raised issues related to public interest under Rule 377. BJP MP Kunwar Pushpendra Singh Chandel urged the government to give Sanskrit the status of national language along with official language Hindi.
भारत एक राष्ट्र में राष्ट्रीय एकता को बढ़ाने वाली, राष्ट्र के भविष्य का मार्गदर्शन करने वाली भारत की वाक प्राण शक्ति संस्कृत भाषा को हिंदी राजभाषा के साथ राष्ट्रीय भाषा घोषित किया जाए और इसके जन जन तक प्रसार और व्यवहारिक प्रयोग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हर संभव प्रयास किए जाएं।
That's all we have in today's bulletin. Keep watching Sansad TV for the parliamentary updates. Have a good night.